Good afternoon, cherished viewers of Fire Service TV. Many thanks for tuning in and welcome to another informative edition of Fire Service in Focus. We are really delighted to have you here as we come your way live from our studios at the national headquarters and also live on our social media platforms at GNFS Official. On today's show this afternoon, we'll dive into the 2024-2025 bushfire campaign that was launched last Friday, 15th November 2024, here at the national headquarters under the theme Effective Bushfire Prevention Stakeholders' Role in Ensuring a Greener Tomorrow. The monumental event which took place at the headquarters was a mark or a massive step towards ensuring that we protect our environment from devastating fires, and it brought together stakeholders, donors, sponsors, and the Ghana National Fire Service to address issues of bushfire prevention. So on today's show, we would try our best to discuss the highs and lows of the event, look at the key moments and some standout aspects of the campaign, and also along the way we would also show highlights of the speeches from our dignitaries and our guests who were present at the event, as they made or they highlighted crucial aspects of the campaign, including the role of stakeholders, impact of bushfires, and what have you. So on today's show, I have two very intelligent officers of the Ghana National Fire Service who I'm going to introduce shortly. But before that, I would like to note that this program is sponsored by Blue Financial Services Ghana Limited, and they offer affordable loans to salary workers, and you can contact them on 030-396-8196. I repeat, 030-396-8196, or you can WhatsApp them on 050-160-9958. I repeat, 050-160-9958. I am your host, ADO2 Derek Elomajukba, and I'm excited to share this conversation with you. So don't go anywhere. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll start the conversation.
I came across power safety technology.
Welcome back, viewers, from that commercial break. And if you just joined us, this is Fire Service in Focus, a program that comes your way every Monday at exactly 2 p.m. with the latest on our operations and challenges. And today we'll focus on the recently launched bushfire prevention campaign. And my guests are already in the studio, so I'll quickly introduce them. To my immediate right, we have the Director of Rural Fires, Ghana National Fire Service, Deputy Chief Fire Officer James Osweji. Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you.
Pleasure to have you on the show, sir. And a big congratulations for the successful launch of your campaign.
Thank you. And I won't take the credit alone. We share the credits.
Thank you.
You made it happen too.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And on my far right, you have the Head of Public Relations Department, Divisional Officer Grade 2, Desmond Aka. Sir, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon and thanks for having me.
Great. So to start off, sir, I'll start with you. So the campaign that you spearheaded was successfully launched last Friday, 15th November 2024. How do you rate or assess the overall success of the campaign?
Usually, just like the laser said, you don't rate yourself. When you do a program, it's the outside world. Those who watched it, they will have to rate it and then give the comments. So whether it was successful or not, that will be up to the outside world and people that we did the program with to judge and see whether it was successfully done. What I'll say is with its preparation, we're able to go through and then come up successfully with the programs that we earmarked. So that on my part, I'll say was successful. But as to whether we achieve the targets, that will be left to the public to judge.
Absolutely. Dio, what about you? What was your general impression of the whole campaign?
Well, let me first of all say a very good afternoon to your guests or your audiences out there. We appreciate them so much for tuning in and joining us for this particular show. For me, looking at where I sit, I would want to say from this background that, we're able to marshal all the stakeholders. We had a wide range of stakeholders, including politicians, including the traditional authorities, including NGOs, and then institutions that are very much into the safeguarding of the environment. So having been able to bring all these stakeholders to our facility here tells a lot that bushfire prevention is not just the sole mandate of Ghana National Fire Service, but once they were able to partake in it, and it will go a long way to help us to be able to put our acts together to prevent these destructive fires that go a long way to affect our food security, affect our soil productivity, it affects our environment. So in a nutshell, I would say that we did well by way of bringing them together, and then for them to have come to witness and have also seen what we're trying to send across. I mean, in the nutshell, I believe that they will also carry out that message and be good ambassadors to ensure that they play their role, to ensure that we are able to manage the uncontrolled nature of our vegetation burning.
Great. Now, I want us to discuss the key moments or standout aspects of the campaign. So I'll start with you, sir. What were the key highlights or standout moments for you?
What I would say is the whole campaign is to initiate or to bring awareness to the fact that we are entering the dry season and that we should be more conscious or cautious of fires, and be it in the bush or everywhere, because the season comes with dryness in everything. Sometimes we even say stones get dry. So we chose a theme, effective bushfire fighting, the stakeholders' role, in ensuring a greener tomorrow. This theme was chosen out of the fact that we have, for some time now, been trying to reforest our land. We've been growing a lot of trees, and so there's a need to protect what we've grown. And so we're also saying that we can't do it alone, and we have to do it with our stakeholders. And so this time the onus falls on the stakeholders to help us protect these trees. And that's why we took the theme, and that's our main focus. And so this is a launch, and from here we're going to now delve into the work itself. We're just highlighting what we want to achieve during this dry season. And so the work begins from now, and then it will be at the various regions. So this is what we aim to do.
Great, sir. Lee, what about you? What were some of the key highlights for you?
Yes, sir. So for me, coming from the standpoint of the team, I mean, like I indicated earlier, we cannot do it all by ourselves. It needs a concerted effort to be able to nip that kind of menace in the bud. And having been able to bring the stakeholders, I believe going forward, there will be better collaboration, there will be better kind of workings together to be able to ensure that we create a lot of awareness, especially in our schools, in the marketplace, and especially in the farming communities where these vegetation and then farming activities do occur, so as to be able to do us all ourselves good by ensuring that these fires do not come to destroy our farmlands, our plantation, our valuable economic tree species, and to destroy valuable, habitats for both fauna and then especially the animals, so that at any point in time they will be able to. So one of the key highlights was when the fire volunteers came on board and they were able to bring us home about the need to kind of ensure that during this time of year, where we expect the weather to be dry, where we are not expecting a lot of rains, there is a need for especially those whose livelihood heavily depends on the forest or the natural vegetation to, halt their dependency levels by way of not going to the farms or going into the bushes with naked light just to hunt for bushmeat, just to also hunt for some wild honey with naked lights, not to set their grasses or the vegetation on fire just to allow for new grasses for the herdsmen, not to engage in activities such as tapping palm wine, cooking on the farm, and then being forgetful without putting off the fires. And then also they were able to bring to bear the fact that, we have some cultural practices that also lead to this burning of the bushes, so that together all the policymakers, the politicians, the farmers, the hunters, all those groups of people who heavily depend on the natural vegetation for their survival would halt. And then they were able to bring us to speed the need to be able to kind of always uphold the Bushfire Act. That is PNDC Law 229 Act 1990, that was promulgated in 1990, that if you burn the bushes without any lawful permission, when you are not doing it within the lawful circumstances, then the law must take its course, so that all the punitive measures. So I think that was one of the key highlights, moments that drew my attention to the fact that we need to be able to create a lot of awareness on this particular law, so that people become aware, and then they'll be able to change their attitudes towards how they behave or manage our natural vegetation.
Well, for me, that was also my key moments. I believe they did exceptionally well in addressing the critical issues of bushfire prevention. Anyway, as the head of public relations department, have you received any feedback from attendees or stakeholders? What are they saying?
Yes, especially from our stakeholders. I've received calls from a whole lot of them, from our stakeholders from NADMO, from EPA, from Natural Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Forestry. They have actually called in to congratulate us for this great feat that we've been able to launch there. They have even promised that going forward, they would also contribute their quota immensely so as to be able to drive home the awareness creation. Because if the message goes out there on the preventive aspect, when we are able to highlight the effects of bushfires on our economy and all the other sectors of our socio-economic development, I think that is going to cause a change in attitude, and therefore we are going to have the goals that we want to have, like ensuring a greener tomorrow, whereby all the destructive lands are replanted, so that we have a lot of trees. Because there's this adage that says that when the last tree dies, automatically the last man will also die. So we want to achieve that so as to guarantee all the benefits that the forest or the natural vegetation can provide for us.
Great, great. Back to you, Deputy. Were there any particular lesson you learned from a campaign?
Yes, just to reiterate what Director Pierre said, the highlights from the volunteers on the law also bring into focus the fact that there's a need maybe to amend the law. You know, the punitive aspect of it is not deterrent enough, and so probably people think that if I should go burn the bushes and it would extend to devastate other parts, I mean the highest punishment is either to fine me or just imprisonment for, I think, about 2 years or something, which is not harsh enough. So it's not deterrent enough for people, and they still would want to do what they do. And just like we're saying, we need to amend the law so that people will know that the efforts we put in to reforest the land will not go to waste. And so at least people will be afraid to go out there and just burn, or just when they want to farm, they would at least call the volunteers to come and shepherd them, and so they would be able to guard the fire, which will not extend to cause mayhem. Again, all this that we're trying to do is also to bring home the education that we've been preaching about, that we should be cautious during this dry season. And so I think we're able to drum home the idea that we are being ushered into the dry season, and we should be more cautious with fire.
So are there any immediate steps following the launch of the campaign to sustain the momentum and make sure that it is much bigger going forward?
Yes, just like I said, this is just a launch. And so all the regions, we have 16 regions, and all the regional commanders are supposed to take up and also do their mini launches. Already we have about 5 of the regions who have gone ahead to launch this campaign. And it doesn't end there, just like Director Pierre said. It's also to create awareness and to educate people to be more aware and then use fire cautiously during this season. We are aware that in 1983, it is due to this bushfires, this rampant bushfires that almost took the country down. And it is out of this that the Law 229 was promulgated. It was such that it caused a real damage, and about 50% of our forests were gone. We are also witnessing annual devastation or depreciation of our forests. About 75,000 hectares are lost every year, and it causes about 3% of our economy. So we need to be more serious, and we can't do it alone. We need the support of all our stakeholders, NADMO, forestry, agric, and all to support us in this fight. And that's why we're saying it's a shared responsibility.
Great, great. So viewers, just like he heard, it's a shared responsibility. So we need all of you to commit to playing your roles to ensure that we protect our environment and our natural resources. I'm still here with Deputy Director, Director of Public Relations Department DO2 Desmond Aka, and Director of Rural Affairs DCFO James Owusu-Adjei, discussing the recently launched bushfire campaign here at the national headquarters, and we'll now show you highlights of the speeches from our dignitaries and invited guests. But before we do that, we'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll show you excerpts of this campaign.
From the Fire Aid International Development included firefighting equipment valued at 97,600 pounds in 2022, followed by items worth 480 pounds in 2023, and an additional shipment of excavative tools and other equipment worth 1,000 Tema ports. Today, the team is here
Ibrahim.
add another crucial tool to our arsenal for rapid intervention vehicle bushfire response. We host our tremendously enabling quicker, more efficient response to fires, especially in fire areas. We are indeed proud of our partnership with WRO, UKRO, Fire Aid International Development UK. We say AICO to the team for their zeal and commitment in saving lives and property. Stakeholders' role in ensuring a green tomorrow is both timely and crucial, as it reflects the collective responsibility we all have in protecting our natural environment from the destructive impact of bushfires. The team knows that preventing fire is not just a task for the Ghana National Fire Service, but a shared mission that involves every sector of society. By focusing on stakeholders' roles, the vital contributions that government, traditional authorities, and landowners, community leaders, organizations, environmental organizations, and citizens play in safeguarding our vegetation, natural habitats, and farmlands. Each of these stakeholders has a unique role, whether through policy enforcement, education, adopting practices, creating fire belts to prevent fires from spreading, combating the bushfires that get out of hand. A key aspect of the team here of a greener tomorrow. This phrase of a sustainable future where our landscape remain vibrant by every Ghanaian to take part in this national effort. Bushfire prevention is not solely the responsibility of the National Fire Service. It is a duty. This initiative requires the collective efforts, land environmental organizations, and every community member. Together we can implement best practices in land management, strengthen safety regulations, and raise public awareness. Our purpose here today, ladies and gentlemen, is to rally all stakeholders to take action. Bushfire incidents, they are rooted in environmental shifts, human activities, and sometimes or negligence. Today, I call on every Ghanaian, every community leader, every stakeholder to join this campaign with unwavering commitment. Together we must act urgently to curb real fires and secure a sustainable future. A mission to mitigate the impact on our environment and agricultural productivity. I also want to express my sincerest appreciation and committed fire volunteers for their smart turnout and selfless dedication to duty in protecting our farms, plantations, and the natural environment from bushfires. These volunteers form a vital first defense against bushfires, tirelessly protecting our lands and communities. We value and recognize their crucial role in ensuring a safer, greener future. 100 fire officers who've been training them, for giving them the requisite training that has in their capacity to safeguard our farms and natural vegetation from being ravaged by fires.
So viewers, that was Chief Fire Officer Julius Kuno at the launch of the Bushfire Prevention Campaign, where he gave his remarks, and he highlighted the important role of fire volunteers in ensuring that we protect our environment and our natural resources. And he also urged Ghanaians to come together to ensure that we prioritize our safety and save lives. Deputy, so that was Chief Fire Officer giving his remarks. What's your take on his speech?
Yes, Chief Fire Officer has said it all. He calls on all stakeholders, the citizenry, district assemblies, farmers, to come on board so we all fight this canker. He is also appreciating the efforts of stakeholders and all who come together to help us fight bushfires. And so there's a need to support what he's saying. There's a need to take up or be serious about what we are preaching. And that's what we all are preaching, that we should be serious, we should go hard at it and fight bushfires. We know where it has taken us to before. We don't want to get there again. We are saying that we should all come together. Already we have Galamsey on one part destroying our land. We can't afford to let bushfires also aggravate what we have and what is left. So there's a need to come together. Whatever it is, whatever steps that we have to take, if we have to start from the school, if we have to start from the offices, wherever we have to go at it, and then preach for everybody to bring his contribution to prevent bushfires, to fight bushfires, to save our land.
Thank you, sir. You too, Aka. Chief Officer emphasized the need to come together to fight this bushfires. And as a service, what are we doing to foster collaboration between stakeholders like farmers, community leaders, and individuals?
It is just right that Chief Officer said we need to be able to collaborate to ensure a resilient natural vegetation. And for us to be able to do that, I think if you listen to him carefully, He commended the handlers of the fire volunteers who have over the years been able to kind of train them, give them the requisite skills and then the knowledge base to be able to do what they are known best of doing, and then reiterated the fact that they are the first defense line or backup in the natural environment space or in the farming communities where these bushfires do normally occur. So once they are empowered, and as a service, that is what we've been doing for the past since 1983, and we can only do this best when we have support of even the community members, when we have support from corporate Ghana. You know, these volunteers need to be kind of equipped, to be motivated, because they do this without any salary. So if we as a service are training them and giving them the requisite knowledge in terms of ensuring best environmental or land management practices, such as control burning or early burning or creating fire belts, as well as ensuring that farmers or landowners do what we call green belt by way of planting some fire-resistant tree species around their property or their farms, so as to be able to ward off this uncontrolled bush burning. So apart from the training of the fire volunteers, what we are also doing so much well is the need to be able to create a sustained awareness, because now that we have launched and have been able to bring the stakeholders together, it behoves on us to be able to maintain the momentum and synergy to ensure that each stakeholder plays his or her role very effectively. So when it comes to policy making, those policy makers, we were able to bring them on board. When it comes to ensuring that they put in place best farming practices or best land management practices, we're able to bring the landowners, the farmers, and then the farm hands on board. And when it comes to ensuring that we kind of enforce the bushfire regulation, that is where we're able to also bring the law enforcers also into the picture. So going forward, we would work hand in hand with them to ensure that as a service, we safeguard, we do what is required of us by law to be able to safeguard the bushes or the natural vegetation from the ravages of bushfires.
Great. A gentle reminder that this program is live on our social media platforms at GNFS Official. Kindly give us a follow and also share the link to your friends and family to also be part of today's conversation. We will now take a look at the video or the speech of Flying Officer Storms Mary. He's a philanthropist who has been very instrumental to the Ghana National Fire Service when it comes to donations. 2 years ago, he was here to donate firefighting equipment and rescue equipment, and last week Friday he was also here to donate a bushfire RIV, rapid intervention vehicle, to the Ghana National Fire Service. On this day, we would like to say a very big thank you to him and his partners for such kind gesture. So we'll take a look at his speech now.
This beautiful equipment to the Ghana National Fire Service. This project started a long time ago. It started with Rob McDougall. He used to come in here to do some training for the Ghana National Fire Service. It got to a point that there was a little break, and we thought it was necessary that we revive that relationship that he had already built with Ghana. So we went ahead by mobilizing some equipment that we found useful to the Ghana National Fire Service. Our aim was to extend this to the other emergency services as well. Because we have already developed some ties with the Ghana National Fire Service, we thought it wise to start from there. So over the years, from 2020, we have been donating some fire equipment to the Ghana National Fire Service, as the Chief Fire Officer alluded to earlier on. Something that will go on to help the Ghana National Service to reach the heights that other countries have done. So we count on you, the leadership of the Ghana National Fire Service, that will be able to build a more resilient association or relationship with the Ghana National Fire Service, so what we are doing now can continue. So doing that, we also went ahead to fight strongly to try and get the Ghana National Fire Service into the National Ceasefire Council. What this means is that Ghana will now have access to the NFCC's operational guidance, which is like the Bible of firefighting. So everything that you do in firefighting, you can get it from the guidance. And all you need to do is to tweak it to see what will work for Ghana and aim to do. And I think that's even better than this vehicle that you're seeing here, because it comes with loads of opportunities, including research programs that could happen between these two countries. We have the opportunity of doing research works here using Ghana as a country where we can actually research into firefighting and change what we need to change to make firefighting best suited for Africa. We can see the great works that you're doing, building the colleges and the schools. I think with time, this is going to attract people from different countries to train here as well. So being part of the NFCC will give us that edge, and it will even make us more attractive in getting more people to come into Ghana to come and train their firefighters. I must admit, I have a vehicle and it is well suited for Ghana. Everything about this vehicle is Ghana. I can see Ghana in that vehicle. When we receive this vehicle, that it is also suited for road traffic accident. It only needs a little modifications, maybe getting some RTC equipment in there, and it is ready to go. It is agile, not too big. Going through traffic wouldn't be a problem at all. So we are hoping that this vehicle will be put to good use. We have a tracker fitted in it, so we'll be able to track where this vehicle is going, whether it is being used or we park it somewhere and be worshiping it, which I believe is not going to happen. So we're going to get this vehicle used. We have a tracker in that will track the movement of the vehicle. So we can get back to this. Gave us, this is the impact. That's what we're looking to see. And I think we will get all this data, and with the help of Rob and Sarah, which are the people that have made this magic happen, to convince our sponsors that Ghana is a place. If you look.
So that was Flying Officer Storms Mary from the UK, a philanthropist who has been very helpful to the Ghana National Fire Service. Deputy, let me come back to you. So in his remark, at the latter end, he urged Ghana National Fire Service to put the bushfire RIV into good use. So can you share with us where this bushfire RIV would be sent and how best do you think it would help in the fight against bushfires?
Yes, we express our appreciation to the philanthropist Storms, to Robert McDougall, and to Sarah Adamson. In fact, just to go back a bit, Storms has been a part of fire service since, I think, 2005. In fact, he is the one who initiated the extrication project, and so it's become part of us. But we used to go to UK for competitions, and at the point, Ghana was rated as the second to South Africa when it comes to extrication. That's by the by. Storms also came along and has also been contributing. I think in 2021, they donated a whole lot of equipment to the Ghana National Fire Service through Fire Aid, a non-governmental agency in the UK. And this time around, they brought the RIV, that is the Rapid Intervention Vehicle, which is supposed to fight bushfires. A lot of things came into consideration where to put this vehicle, and it was based on the risk assessment and the fact that we have more fires coming from the Bono East area, more bushfires coming from the Bono East area. So that's where it's going to be located, and we believe that the regional commander, in collaboration with the fire volunteers, would put this into good use. And just like he said, it has a tracker, and so we will be able to monitor whether it's being used or not. And I believe that we're going to use it because we aim at reducing bushfires, and so if we have something to help us fight the bushfires, then we'll go ahead and use it to bring down these fires that are worrying the whole country, bringing us negative results in our economy and everywhere. So it will be put in good use.
Great. He also mentioned that Steve ensured that the Ghana National Fire Service becomes a member of the National Fire Chiefs Council, and according to him, it's the Bible of firefighting. How do you think becoming a part of this council improve firefighting operations and strategies in Ghana?
Yeah, the National Fire Chiefs Council, it's some kind of association that gives out training to firefighters to make them more professional. And so Ghana being part of this council will give us the edge to have more professional training, and it will enhance our delivery. Will be more effective. So it's good news to hear that we will be admitted into this council. And also because we have training schools spread across the country now. We have one at Diakwanta, one in the north, then the new fire college. This will give us that opportunity to train ourselves to become more professional, and also even attract foreigners to come in, which will also rake in some revenue for the service. So we being admitted into the National Fire Chiefs Council, it's good news, and will boost our morale, will boost our expertise in all aspects of firefighting.
Great. Dio, let me also have a take on Storms Mary's speech.
First of all, I think we, on behalf of management, we express our sincerest gratitude to them for having come to our aid since 2002. I remember the first donation that he did, which involved a lot of rescue equipment and then some firefighting equipment as well. I mean, which runs into several millions of pounds sterling. I understand there is even another shipment of same firefighting and rescue equipment, which is, I believe it is even at Tema, awaiting clearance, which we believe that when they are cleared and they are brought in would help us greatly to be able to save more lives and property. So that is by way of showing our appreciation. We want to be quick and add that if we could have just 10% of Ghanaians emulating the gesture that Storms and its partners, especially Fire Aid UK, have been doing. I mean, fire service, Ghana National Fire Service would now reach a certain height that Ghanaians are always looking at us to be able to get there. And for the use of the rapid intervention vehicle, I think it's going to be a game changer when it comes to bushfire management in the fire-prone area. That is where it is going to be used. So I believe the vehicle has come very timely at the time that we need. You know, this is the time we experience a lot of bushfires in that enclave, and so in as much as it is deployed to combat bushfires, it will also help them to be able to send out the awareness creation messages there also, so as to be able to bring them up to speed on the preventative measures to be able to combat bushfires in such area. With regards to becoming part of the NFCC, I think that is a great news, and it is an opportunity that we have to hook onto, because that is where the creme de la creme in firefighting worldwide are also part. That is where we'll be able to share knowledge. We'll have access to their guidelines, which is like a standard, more or less, and that will help us to do our work effectively. So the possibilities of joining that association is endless. And now that we have a fire college and some additional fire training schools, I mean, it will help us to open up and to even attract other firefighters from all over Africa, so as to be the standard of firefighting in the whole of the African region. So I believe that with what Storms and his partners are doing, we need a lot more people, a lot more Ghanaians to also support in. Many a times Ghanaians do blame Ghana National Fire Service without contributing any meaningful thing to our cause. So I think this is the time that we can also come together as an association or as a group to start looking at some specific needs and then donating to Ghana National Fire Service.
Great.
So as to be able to help us to deliver on our mandates.
Great, great. Let's now delve into the speech of the Greater Accra Regional Minister, who was represented by Honorable Ebenezer Nartey Titus.
It is very important for all of us to ensure that our country, our towns and villages are green to prevent our people from destroying our livelihood. Ladies and gentlemen, bushfire prevention is not the sole responsibility of government and the National Fire Service. It is a shared responsibility and demand of all stakeholders, politicians, traditional authorities, farmers, opinion leaders, environmental agencies, community members, and every citizen. Chiefs and our traditional leaders who serve as the custodians of our land have a responsibility to ensure that our farmers and also our citizens will not destroy our forest reserve. The National Fire Service is committed in consulting the awareness program across this community, particularly in the high-risk areas, to educate individuals of best practice of fire prevention. But knowledge alone is not enough. We must provide the community with necessary resources, firefighting tools, to train our local volunteers to ensure that they can all act on their knowledge and help reduce bushfire in our towns and villages. Our fire volunteers especially need a dedicated and a commitment encouragement to ensure that they work for the betterment of our country and for the betterment of all of us. As we officially land this campaign, I call on all Ghanaians to reflect on their role in bushfire prevention. It is the responsibility of all of us, whether you are a farmer, whether you are a community leader, a student, a public official, there is a part you can play. Together, let us commit to deploy our fire safety practice, educate those around us, and support the policy to protect our environment. This action we take today will shape the Ghana we all live and future generation. Let us all stand in unity in this mission and make this a great impact.
So that was Honorable Ebenezer Nartey Titus representing the Greater Accra Regional Minister at the launch of the bushfire campaign last Friday. You too. So in the speech of the representative of the Greater Accra Regional Minister, he emphasized the role of traditional leaders and how best or how their efforts are needed in bushfire prevention. As a service, how do we plan to engage them and collaborate with them?
All right, thank you so much. When it comes to the traditional leaders, they are the custodians of the land. They control how much of the natural land that they can lease for farming and other important economic activities. So if we want to prevent these bushfires from happening, I mean, they are the first point of call to be able to involve them in all activities. Once they feel part of it, that is where they will also be able to play their roles well and then contribute their part. If you listen to the minister's speech, he made a critical point that it is not just enough for us to train the fire volunteer, equip them with knowledge, but we need to be able to equip them further with the tools that they need to be able to work with. So the traditional authorities, since they are the custodian of the land, and then they kind of lease or sell out the land for prospective farmers or whatever development that that has to go on there, at least they can also support us to kind of encourage, motivate the fire volunteers with the needed tools and accoutrement to be able to safeguard the same land that they have been able to lease out. So their role is very critical, and that is how we can collaborate with them. And then also, this one is just a little deviation from, though we are talking about bushfires, they are in charge of the land, and therefore they are very much aware of the lands that are being destroyed by the activities of Galamsey. And we know that this also goes a long way to affect our water bodies. And once our water bodies are affected, it affects the volumes of water that are kind of pumped out into our various hydrants. And once we are affected by way of water supply, it means that we cannot get access to continuous water or the required quantity of water at desired pressure at the hydrant point. And therefore, that is going to hamper on our firefighting efforts. So we need to be able to collaborate with them so that they can also control that menace, so as to be able to contribute their quota in supporting us in training the fire volunteers and equipping them to be able to provide that kind of first backbone support to prevent these bushfires in the farming communities.
Great. Deputy, let me come to you. So in his speech, he stressed on shared responsibility. Stressed on shared responsibility. As a service, how do we ensure that the stakeholders understand their role and, play it well to ensure that we all achieve this common goal?
Thanks for that question. Fire Service has collaborated with stakeholders since time immemorial. And just like we're saying, we can't do it all alone. We have committees that we have other stakeholders from other institutions like NADMO, Agric, Ministry of Agric, Education, Forestry, Cocoa Board, and all stakeholders involved in land use being part of this committee. And so periodically we meet and we discuss strategies to adopt to do whatever it takes to save the land. We meet to plan, we meet to, even with this launch, they are part of it in its planning and it's coming into fruition. So we collaborate with these stakeholders. The chiefs are also part of the stakeholders that we're talking about. And then our law also says that they form the base of the law. And so if there's anything to be done effectively, the volunteers will have to collaborate with them. If there's any decision that has to be taken, they even go to arbitrate it first before it goes to the police. So we collaborate with our stakeholders in all ways to ensure that we prevent bushfires, we fight bushfires, and volunteers are in league with our stakeholders, be it the Nananom, that's the chiefs, or all other stakeholders that we work with. So that's how we collaborate to do the work.
Great. We'll now take the speech of CFO, Chief Officer Robert McDougall. He's the CFO, Oxfordshire in the UK, and he's one of the people who ensured that the bushfire RIV arrived in Ghana.
such amazing vehicles, which are better than the vehicles I have back in Oxfordshire. So I think it's a testament to the leadership of the Ghana National Fire Service and all the support. It's incredible. And if you haven't had a chance to look at the vehicles, and I am going to be slightly biased because there's one vehicle in particular, which is the Toyota, which has been donated through the program, which, as Storms has already mentioned, is a beautiful vehicle and hopefully will do amazing things for you here in Ghana. But I just want to explain why it's here. And that is to say, it started with a gentleman from the Dubai Civil Defence Organisation, so Lieutenant Colonel Essa, who made a commitment to try and reduce the impacts of bushfires across Africa. And he has come forward on that commitment, and the first part of his commitment is the vehicle you see here. So thank you, and I think we should give him a round of applause. By engineers in the UK from the organisation Angloco, and we should be very grateful for the work and the passion they put into building a machine that is going to work for the Ghana National Fire Service. And Sarah is here to represent Angloco, so please, another round of applause for the people at Angloco. And I'm here for a number of reasons. One, because Ghana is my second home, and it is great to be back and see so many friendly faces. And I think about over the 20-year relationship that I've been blessed to have with the Ghana National Fire Service, to see so many familiar faces is fantastic. But also to see new faces who are coming up into the leadership of the Ghana National Fire Service. And I wish you all the best for the future. But I'm also here as part of the Fire Aid charity, which is a charity which looks to bring together organisations to make a real difference in fire services across the world. One of those smaller charities is Emergency Aid International, which again, Storm's memory has been involved in setting up to support, and he's gone through some of the donations it's made. But it's really important partners together to make sure we can keep building. And we all know that climate change is a problem for everybody in the world. And this project, this collaboration, is about solidarity. This is about recognizing we are a fire family. And everywhere you go as a firefighter, you'll be welcomed into any fire service across the world. And this has started with the fire service in Dubai wanting to make a difference. This has started with the relationships that have been built to make sure we can be here today and present this vehicle to you. And long may those partnerships continue, and the amount of commitment and dedication that you'll get from us working with you. And I'll be entirely grateful for all those people within the Ghana National Fire Service, but under Chief Fire Officer Julius's leadership, I think it's really impressive and a testament that we are where we are and see such an amazing array of vehicles which will continue to support the fire service. But it is a battle we must keep fighting, and I hope that we can work together and continue to make a difference. Thank you.
So that was Chief Fire Officer Robert McDougall, CFO Oxfordshire in the UK, giving his remarks at the Bushfire Prevention launch. I'm delighted to announce to you that the phone lines have been opened for you to phone in and share your contribution, thoughts, and even if you have any questions, you can phone in and ask. You can reach us on 050-960-8744. I repeat, 050-960-8744. We cherish your contribution so much, so please kindly do what to phone in and then share your opinion. Dio, let me come to you. So in the speech of CFO Robert McDougall, it appeared as if he was delighted with the vehicles we had received by the government. But then again, on social media, it's an absolutely different conversation going on there. People are expressing their dissatisfaction and also critiquing the decision of government to provide us with SUVs instead of fire tenders, which, I mean, it's no secret that we are in dire need of them. I would like you to address the concerns of these people so as to create transparency and understanding.
All right. Listening to Chief Officer of Oxfordshire, you could see the delight in his face, having worked tirelessly with the Fire Aid UK and the partners to get us this RIV, which is a game changer. when it comes to controlling and managing bushfires in the designated place that is going to work. Just as Storm said, that vehicle has been fitted with tracker to ensure that we effectively make use of it. And for that is exactly what we are going to use it for. On the criticisms that we are facing on social media, I believe that Ghanaians must appreciate what government has done. And then as a service, as an evolving service, we are very much poised to work when the needed resources are provided. I think the request for fire engines have been placed on the doorsteps of government. And as I speak, and as earlier on indicated, the acquisition of tenders take a bit of time. The procurement processes are quite, it takes longer. And these machines or vehicles are custom made. It is not that the parts are on the market that you have to go and then pick them. It takes a bit of time to assemble all the parts and to assemble them together. And that is the challenge with it. But the good news is that the tenders that we are expecting from Europe, from the Far East or the North America have all gotten to the value for money stage. And that is the stage it has gotten to. So when that stage is done with, that is where the procurement issues would end. And the supplier will be given the go-ahead to put together these fire engines. And we are hoping and believing that all these stages would reach its final stage so that the fire tenders would be put together and brought. As I speak with you, that is where it has gotten to. But these utility vehicles are very much important to also help us to be able to meet our other obligations. So it is not a misplaced priority, just that people must understand that we need even more of such vehicles. That is why earlier on alluded to the fact that if we could get 10% of Ghanaians to emulate what or the gesture that Storms Memory and his partners are doing, by now fire service will get a lot more of these utility vehicles to be able to go out there into the public spaces to conduct more preventative education, so that once we are empowered, once we know what to do to curb fires, to prevent fires, and then also to handle fires when they do occur, I mean, it will go a long way to help us all go about our businesses. So please, those of you who do not understand the issue, this is how the fire tenders procurement processes are. It is at the value for money stage. Let's pray and hope that it gets to its finality, and then we get these tenders as soon as possible to help our cause to be able to manage the hellish fires. But we have done, that is why we have also intensified our education. So please, you just have to also open your doors and listen to the many messages and educations that we are doing, so that you would know exactly what to do when there is fire. And just as we've also saying that this year in particular, instead of the various hampers that we've been giving to our loved ones, let's try and then get some fire extinguishers, some smoke alarms as their Christmas or their festive season gift, so as to be able to help them to be able to save life and then also safeguard the property.
Great. Deputy, let me also have your take on briefly.
I think Director Pierre has said it all, but like I was saying, I have been in operations before and I know how it works. It takes some time for procurement of fire equipment, and the process that it goes through is quite hectic. And so if it's at the value for money stage, then we thank God and we know that and we are hopeful that after that stage, it will not take too long for us to get new vehicles. There's no doubt that we'll need new vehicles. The ones that we have in the system have been with us for some time, and you know, vehicles, our vehicles do a dual work. As we traverse the roads and we get to the fire scene, the pump so uses the same engine to bring out water. So if a vehicle has to take about 10 years, that means ours should take about 5 years to last. So we know, and we're soliciting the help of other philanthropists to come to our aid whilst the government does its bit. So they can also donate, like Storms and McDougall have done. We're asking whatever type of equipment they can get us, even if it's an extinguisher, they should bring it so we can also use it to save lives and property. So we'll, by this, say appeal to the public to come to the aid of Ghana National Fire Service in every sector, be it logistics for volunteers, be it logistics for the firefighters. We will appreciate it.
Great. Viewers, let's now take a look at the speech of the Minister of Interior, Honorable Henry Quartey, who also doubles as the MP for Ayawaso Central.
For sustenance and survival, our food security, foreign things, medical provisions are all the forests. It is in this light that our year's theme, bushfire campaign, agreement, unquote, a very appropriate, distinguished invited, with agriculture being of the Ghanaian, a good number is derived from engaging in timbers and other have served as a big boost to our economy. This places a huge responsibility on citizens to take particular in the from one of its esteemed members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, over the years to keep our forests and farmlands safe by responding to all bushfire incidents that occurred in our various communities. It observed in recent times that the service has intensified its educational drive by engaging the public through all available channels, such as social media, traditional media, one-on-one community-based education. We, as citizens, are on the other hand required to avail ourselves for the teachings and safety messages being churned out by the Ghana National Fire Service to help prevent bush fires. The acquisition of Fire Service TV, which transmits fire safety messages and educational content, is a newest addition which has given a bigger boost to the goal of bringing fire safety to the doorsteps of the public. We also have the benefit of the service of over 6,000 fire volunteers who have been trained by the Ghana Fire Service to assist us in managing bush fires in our communities. Fire officer and his management team for playing their part in achieving the socio-economic development agenda for this country. To my dear volunteers, I encourage you to continue with your sacrifice and dedication to the nation. It is also my fervent hope and belief that we can collectively prevent bushfires. A fire service today that has over 3 training centers across the country. Today, they have a TV station and a band that I'm yet to organize a competition between immigration, police, and fire to see who emerges as the winner. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hereby declare the 2024-2025 National Bushfire Campaign and the Rapid Intervention Vehicle meant for bushfires duly launched.
So that was the Minister of Interior, Honorable Henry Quartey, giving his remarks at the launch of the National Bushfire Prevention Campaign, and he highlighted the role of or the importance of how this initiative or this campaign helps to protect our farmlands and forests and our environment, which are crucial in ensuring that we protect our environment, and also which ensures that our food and our economy is secured. Sir, please, what's your take on his speech?
In fact, our Honorable Minister has hit the nail right on the head. Like I said before, bushfires have devastated our land to the extent that we've had famine in the country before. That was in 1983, and that is as a result that we had Law 229 promulgated. We don't want to go back to that. It still affects us. Our economy can go down as 3%, being degraded by, being wiped off by bushfires, because we are losing about 75,000 hectares every year. And so if we say that bushfire directly impinges on our economy, then it is true. And so we should all marshal behind the statement and put our shoulders to the wheel and prevent and fight bushfires, just as he's saying.
Great. You too. So the minister was, in his speech, he commended the Ghana National Fire Service rapid transformation over the years from having just one training center to now having more than 3, and also setting up our own fire service TV. And looking at this, how do you plan to build and sustain on this transformation?
All right, thank you. I believe strongly that the government needs some recommendation or commendation in this regard. I think for the past few years, they have been able to add onto a number of the Only Fire and Academy Training School, only 2 additional training schools at Wungu and then Dwyer and Kwanta. And I've gone ahead to also add the Fire College as well at Akwadum in Chebi. And that is also a good sign that the service is ready to expand in terms of training and building the capacity of its personnel to meet the exigencies of the time. We have also identified the fact that we need to get the message out there to the public. We believe that an empowered citizenry would have the knowledge base, will be competent enough to handle fires at their initial stages, and also to put measures in place in order not for the fires to even occur. So they're coming into force. The TV has really helped us to be able to do that, and we believe that going forward we are going to come up with some programming to be able to sustain people kind of staying glued to their TV, and then catching on with our messages and all that. But I believe that going forward, collaboratively, we need to be able to support the Ghana National Fire Service in as much as government is doing its bit to help us to be able to deliver on our mandate. The Ghanaian populace also have a responsibility towards us by way of supporting us. One, in terms of listening to our messages, putting in place the preventive measures, and then staying informed to be able to know how best to handle potable fire extinguishers to deal with their fire emergencies, especially. Once they are able to do that, and then also help us with some logistical support, I think by and large we'll be able to deliver on our mandate, building more fire stations, donating fire station infrastructure to the Ghana National Fire Service. I mean, we will be closer to them And then at any point in time, if there is any bushfire, if there is any other type of fire or any other emergency that requires our services, because of reduced response time, we'll be there as quickly as possible to help them. So I think that is the step in the right direction. And as a service, we are poised with the resources that we have now to be able to build our capacity to serve the people who have given us this kind of mandate.
Great. Deputy, let me come to you. By way of your final words, what message do you have for the Ghanaian people out there who are watching?
Yeah, thank you. I would appeal to the whole of the country, all citizenry, to come to our aid, to come and collaborate with us, so together we can fight bushfires. Bushfires are a menace to our society. We've gone through that before. We don't want to go back there. So we appeal that everybody would be cautious with fires, be it bush or domestic anyway, because we are entering into the dry season, which we call the fire season, because almost everything will be dry. And so the least fires would spread to cause mayhem. So we will entreat everybody to be cautious at this time. It's going to stretch from now till about next year, March. And so let's all be cautious with fires from now onwards.
Great. What about you? What campaign message do you have for Ghanaians as we head into the festive period? And you can conclude by giving us an update on the recruitment process.
Well, thank you so much. For us, the launching of the 2024-2025 National Bushfire Campaign brings to the fore the need for all stakeholders. In this case, it refers to all Ghanaians, be you a student, a policymaker, a politician, a traditional authority, or a landowner, or a farmer, or anybody else whose livelihood depends very much on the natural environment, to come together, play our respective roles to ensure that we safeguard our natural environment from the ravages of bushfire. Because when we do our best, we try to plant trees, we try to ensure that we put in place the best farming practices and then management, land management practices. It will go a long way to sustain or to make our natural environment more resilient, to provide it many amenities and then benefits, such as good quality air, enhanced rainfall patterns, and then also some food security issues and a whole lot of benefit that comes our way. So please, let us not think that bushfires, we do not have any role to play. And then let's come to the aid of the service, support the fire volunteers. Let's support them with logistics to be able to motivate them, since it is a voluntary work. Once they are supported and they have what it takes to be able to do their work, they are also motivated to continue to provide us with that kind of first line of defense when it comes to management of bushfires. On the recruitment, what I would say is that this particular ongoing recruitment is for the 2021 applicants. At this time, what we've been able to do is to have sent out messages to only shortlisted or qualified applicants to appear in turns. So the messages have been sent in batches. So if it is not your turn, it means that it will be very difficult to receive a message. So once it is your turn, we send you the message and you appear on a particular date to go through the body selection, documentation, and the medical screening, which comes at your own cost. So we are praying that in the coming days, we'll be able to do away with that kind of phase to progress to the next phase. So please, if you have not received any message, just keep your cool. At the right time, you'll receive. But let me also add this, that all unsuccessful applicants, or those who could not meet the criteria in terms of age, in terms of height, in terms of even not sending us the required information, when we requested in August to send us your required information via an email, we will send you a notice or an information or a message indicating the reason why you could not make it in due course. So please, let us all keep our cool. If you don't get it this time round, it does not mean that tomorrow, when the opportunity avails itself, you will not get it. So that at the appointed time, we will not have the opportunity to be enlisted into the Ghana National Fire Service.
Okay, sir. So before we go, in just 30 seconds, please elaborate on the Be Watchful and Stay Safe campaign on social media.
We all know that we are very much into the fire season. This is a season where there is less moisture content in the atmosphere, and therefore a lot more fuels become available. By means of availability, they are easily susceptible to naked fires or ignition sources. So let us all be watchful and then stay safe out there. I mean, we can only do our part by educating you, but you have also the responsibility to ensure that you put in measures. You open your eyes if there are issues within your setting. If it is has to do with an overage cable which has to be replaced, quickly get the experts, the competent engineers or contractors to be able to work on it. If you are having issues or challenges with your gas cooking apparatus, quickly send it to the refilling point. Let the technicians work on it. Any other thing that you have to do to be able to keep your families safe, why not do it this time round? And then let us avoid indiscriminate bush burning, especially around our homes, especially around this time where the weather is going to be dry and a lot of dry vegetation will be available to burn, so that at any point in time there wouldn't be any fire situation. And the Christmas message that we want to give you is that instead of the usual hampers, the chicken, and then the various goodies that we send to our various loved ones, let us try as much as possible this time round to give them the life-saving equipment such as smoke alarms or smoke detectors, and then portable fire extinguishers. Once you are able to save a life, it goes a long way to help us to be able to have a safer community. It is all of us our responsibility. Let us remain watchful and then stay safe out there, even on our roads, even in our offices, especially in our homes, and even on our farms. Once we keep the fires at bay, we'll have the peace of mind to go about our normal businesses.
Thank you, sir. So viewers, that brings us to the end of today's discussion. Thank you so much for joining us on Fire Service in Focus. Today we reviewed the 2024-2025 bushfire prevention campaign, discussing the successes, challenges, and how we can do better next year. A big thank you to my guests, Deputy Chief Fire Officer James Owusu-Eje, Director of Rural Fires, and DO2 Desmond Aka, Head of Public Relations Department. Let's all come together and prevent bushfires and protect our environment. Stay safe. See you next time.
Nifa free nkum free atifi free and afonso free ye mra and for say safa ni afa ati agro homa so and no just say for second in year 3 ebi Ghana stands the test of time once again as we go to the polls to elect our leaders. Indeed, this is what we have, our beautiful Ghana. So let us all come together to protect the peace that Oduma Kuma Chedi Kwame Basayadom has given